$0 alimony. Ex-wife had to move in with her folks. Feel bad. Nope. I got divorced back in May 2017. My ex-wife requested 50% of my take-home pay and spousal maintenance. Alimony because she's too sick to work, but no evidence. Plus child support to be based on me only having visitation. Plus she wanted me to pay for her to get private health insurance. Plus she wanted 50% of the equity of the separate in my sole property house. Plus she felt that the 2015 Altima I drive was a marital asset, but the loan to buy the car was all on me. Plus she wanted 50% of my 401k. She refused to work, pill popping problems, and didn't drive due to a DUI from popping pills. She actually tried to argue that the $7,000 in DUI fines were a marital debt, but her lawyer told her, "You're treading on thin ice, lady." In the end, the judge awarded her $0 in alimony. I got 50% custody. I kept my house. I kept my car and car loan. She got 50% of my 401k and 10% of the equity in the house. In 1 year, she spent it all. She didn't realize that 401k is pre-tax dollars, so when she spent that money, the IRS took out 10% tax, but she owed more than that. And she owed money to the state income taxes as well. Then she had to move in with her folks. She's still there 18 months later, and they have to deal with her pill-popping ways. Do I care? Sorry. $0 given. Hey guys, please like, comment, and subscribe. It would really help me out. Thanks. Her sense of entitlement is amazing. I am glad in this instance you came out ahead. Sounds like you should have gotten full custody of your kid, but this is one area where men get screwed. Yep, her DUI was with the kids in the car. My daughter was pretty banged up because she wasn't even buckled in. Even with that, best I could do was 50% custody. If the situation was reversed, I'd be lucky to get supervised visitation. Fantastic. Keep moving forward. My mom cheated on my dad, and she blames me. Hi, I'm a daughter of a mother who cheated on my father. My mother isn't exactly a pro in the social media department, especially when it comes to passwords, remembering them, changing them, etc., etc. I've always done this because she asked me to, not because I wanted to, because she asked me to. This storm starting with me having a political debate on Facebook with another individual, and leading to me being blocked. It was stupid really, and then it clicked in me. I'll just log onto mom's Facebook not to continue an argument, just to get a better sense of who the other person was on the other side of the screen I had been arguing with. So I did, not to nosy in her business. But then this gut-wrenching feeling hit me, a sickening feeling. Check her messenger, this feeling told me. So I checked her messenger, and there was an explicit message to a man that was not my father. My heart immediately broke into a million pieces. Fast forward to present time. This happened Monday. She blames me for exposing her. You see, I knew when I met my mother face to face that Monday that she was not sorry. She was sorry she had been caught. She put up a front like she was. She certainly tried. I told her I would not be the one to tell him, that she would be the one. And she did. I guess this only angered her more that I was not condoning her situation. She messaged me later that day and asked me for her passwords, and I reluctantly give them to her. But everyone knows, when you change your Facebook password you click that little box log me out of all other devices. And my mother didn't know this, hence the reason I always helped her. So I still had access to her account. I didn't tell her, because I wanted to see my mother for who she was in this situation. I wasn't blind, and I was going to follow that gut feeling that told me that she was not sorry. Since then she has continued to message her lover, saying that my grandmother told her I should have smacked the piss out of she caused this. He wouldn't shut up until I told him he has destroyed me. She has caused a mess. If he hadn't got nosy, I wouldn't be in this position. Newsflash, you wouldn't be in this position had you not cheated. Don't cheat unless you want to get caught. I hope her lover is worth losing, her only daughter and husband of over 20 years. Update on the situation with my grandmother. My mother is currently staying with my grandmother to give my father space. I called her to confront her that I knew that she had messaged her lover the night it came out, and that I knew all the things she was saying about me. I asked her why she would do either of those things, and she told me that she done them out of anger. I asked her if my grandmother really said I needed smacked, and she said yes. She continued to give me excuse after excuse for her actions, then told me she was going to have to move when I then heard my grandmother in the background say yeah. Because of her, I then told my mother I didn't understand why it seemed so easy for people to turn against me. I heard her I loved her, and got off of the phone. So much for family, I guess. This is not your fault. You hit it right on the head. She's not sorry. She is only remorseful that she was caught. If your dad blames you too, then that would be a tragedy because all you did was expose a cheater. Cheaters are narcissists that only think of themselves and how things affect them. I'd hate to think that your dad would buy into her BS, but you never know and you should prepare yourself in that eventuality. You can point him to this forum if necessary. You actually have the upper hand because you can actually ask if the P's wife knows. You actually hold the power over to families. When they come back at you, it's going to hurt and sting, but the proper reply is that you yourself did not cheat. She did. Big hugs. My 24 male best friend, 24 male of 12 years, is cheating on his girlfriend, 23 female. And I don't know what to do. Hey guys, first of all, I just want to say that in any situation I would immediately tell someone if they're being cheated on, but this is more complicated. I've known my best friend since we were kids, neighbors, went to the same school, and all that stuff. 8 months ago he started dating this girl. I have no particular opinion on her, don't especially like her or hate her. So recently I found out that he hooked up with a mutual friend, one that he told me he had a crush on about a year ago. So when I found that out, I told him, yo, I heard you hooked up with someone. People better be lying, bro, because you know how I feel about cheaters and stuff. He went to tell me that his relationship with this girl is actually not that serious, and that she's got a guy or two on the side too, and that they're just having fun. Now usually, I wouldn't believe that because my best friend wouldn't be okay with that kind of stuff. He isn't that type of guy, but I guess I kinda wanted to believe it because I didn't want to think he actually cheated or something. Anyway, for whatever reason, I actually believed him. Fast forward to a couple of weeks ago. I was hanging out with him and his girl. So he goes to take a phone call in the other room, and I jokingly told his girlfriend, yo, I bet that's one of his side chicks, are you really cool with that? Her reaction was not what I expected from someone who is in that kind of open relationship. She basically said, if he even thinks about having a side chick, I'd ditch his butt. When she said that, it hit me that he lied to me about it. So later that night after she left, I told him, bro, the whole casual relationship stuff that you told me was bees, wasn't it? You're gonna have to tell her or I will. Now it's been like 2 weeks since the whole thing, and he still hasn't told her. I'm not sure if I give him more time or not, just because I feel like if I'm the one that tells her, then there is no chance of their relationship surviving. But if he comes clean to her and apologizes, then it might be fixed. What should I do here? Give him more time or tell her? Too long didn't read. My best friend cheated on his girl. I told him he's gotta come clean or I'll tell her. He told he will. It's been 2 weeks and he still hasn't. Now I'm not sure what I was the girl in this situation with my ex. I considered his best friend a good friend of mine as well, as I dated my ex for 6 years. When I found out my ex had been cheating, the betrayal was infinitely worse because not a single one of his friends respected me enough to tell me. Please tell her. Should I tell my ex best friend's boyfriend that she cheated on him with my FWB? Hello people of Reddit. Last week my 22 female best friend, 21 female, of 6 years slept with my FWB, 28 male. At one point in time, I had strong feelings for him. We would often go on dates and trips together, basically in an open relationship without a title for 3 years, with the boundaries set that I didn't sleep with his friends, and he didn't sleep with mine. I introduced my friend to him last year as we would often go out and party together. Long story short, last week they were coming to visit me at the restaurant I work at, as we were all going to plan a trip together for my birthday this week, but I didn't clarify which job I was at, so they drove to the wrong city. I told them to just eat there, and I would meet up with them after. As they were getting drinks and dinner, she kept asking me if I was mad that she was at dinner with him alone, and I didn't think I had any reason to be. She was also texting me saying how similar we are, and how we would get married someday, lol. I got off of work as they were leaving the restaurant, so they told me to meet them at her house. I get to her house, and neither of them were there, and they were not answering their phones, so I knew something was up. I then drove to his house, and not so surprisingly, they were there. She then called me and said that she was sorry, and told me she was parked down the street from her house talking on the phone to her boyfriend, and to meet her at her house in 5 minutes. As she was talking on the phone with me, they both walked out of his house, and he drove her home. I followed them to her house, and caught my FWB at the end of the street. I asked him if they slept together, and at first he was lying, but I eventually got it out of him. He said they did sleep together, and if I were to tell her boyfriend to leave his name out of it. I proceeded to walk into her house and call her some nasty names as she was crying and denying all of it. I told her that I was going to tell her boyfriend, but she was still denying all of it. I left her house and blocked them both on everything. I was strongly considering calling her boyfriend that night to tell him, but figured I should wait until I calmed down to do so. While I do want to tell him because he deserves to know she's unfaithful, I also kind of want to just block them both out of my life entirely and move on with it. Another reason that is holding me back is that she is quite spiteful, and I know she will try to take me down with her. Is telling her boyfriend just me being spiteful and petty? Am I being selfish by not telling him, with the reason being that she will try to ruin my life as well? Too long didn't read. My friend of many years slept with my FWB. Should I tell her boyfriend? If someone knew my BF had cheated on me, I would really appreciate them telling me. I'm out here to have a good time, not to get the clap or some ish halaha. I'm sure this isn't the first time she's cheated. It's just close to home for you. So you found this one out. If you do, prepare for him not to believe you without hard evidence.